Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristin and I love to craft. Today we will be starting a new series and we are going to be crafting with some Fawn stamp and die sets. I placed a huge order and my boys actually put these in order on how they want me to start crafting. So it was just a little fun activity for them to match up the stamps with the coordinating dies, and so I'm going to be going in the order that they have put together. So let's go ahead and choose the first one. And it looks like we have the Mermaid Stamp and Die Set. And this one says make a splash. And here it is up close. This is going to be so exciting. This is actually one that I was most excited for. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out some colors, maybe do some ink blending as well. So I will be right back. We have our score tool here, and we also have our card right here, and this is going to be a 4x4 card. If you are using your Cricut to cut out your card panels, then definitely do 4 inches by 8 inches. And we are going to use our score tool and we are going to score it at the 4-inch mark. So we are going to go right here and score it, and then we can go ahead and fold it in half. And I also like to take the little tool here and just go over it a few times to make sure that the card is super flat, like that, and then it lays perfectly flat. So we can go ahead and set this right here. And also I picked up some Recollections plastic domes from Michaels. These domes are perfect for shaker cards, and I thought that we could add some filler to it. So we have two different fillers. We have this one and it has all those seashells in it, and this is also by the Recollections brand. And then we have this one. This one also has more seashells, but it's more of like the purple shades in here. And this one is from Hobby Lobby. So I figured that we would try these out. I've never used shaker domes before. I have quite a few in my collection, and so I thought that today would be the perfect day for them, especially since we chose this Little Mermaid card today. So I did also want to mention that I cut this with my Cricut as well, and this is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I did a square and then I did a circle, and I centered it on the square and used the slicing tool, and that is how I created this shape here. The reason that I did the slicing method on the square is because we are going to put it over our shaker dome. And the shaker dome does have double-sided tape on both sides. It automatically comes with it, and so that is what we will be using today. So we can go ahead and just set all this to the side, and then we can go ahead and start stamping. I have an extra piece of cardstock here, and we will be using our Misty today. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. We are going to place that cardstock in here, and we are going to use the magnetic piece right here to hold that cardstock in place. And we can go ahead and take out our stamp. And we will be using all the pieces for this. So let's go ahead and just put down the mermaid, the fish, the bubbles, and then for the sentiment, we will probably have to fussy cut it because it does not come with a coordinating die. So we might even want to go ahead and place our sentiment in the correct place, that way that we don't have to fussy cut too much. We could put it about right there, and then we can put that exclamation mark beside it. All right, now let's go ahead and close up the folder. And now the stamps will be right here. Let's go ahead and reposition that cardstock again. And then since these are brand new, we can also just kind of rub our finger over the stamps and condition those. Going in with our Memento in the shade Tuxedo Black. And we are just going to go over the top of the stamps. And it's okay if you need to make 2 to 3 passes, just because sometimes doesn't get good and coated on that first initial press of the stamp. So let's go ahead and close up that folder, go over it. That looks great, but I do want to do just another pass through just to make sure that everything is good and coated on there. And we're going to close up that folder again, press down. That looks great. So what I also like to do is stamp it again, just because if I mess up on a piece, then we definitely want to have a little extra backup. And if I don't need the extra, then it's just an easier way to create another card. So we will just put this piece of cardstock in here, and we can go ahead and restamp this one as well. And if I don't end up needing this extra piece, then we might just make 2 cards today. So we will just have to see. All right, let's go through it again. Press down. All right, that looks great. So what I'm going to do now is just clean up this little area here, and then I will be right back. I know I talk about the Ohuhu markers in almost all my videos, and it's because they're my favorite. So I went to ohuhu.com and I printed out their color swatch papers, and I swatched all of the colors that way that whenever I'm looking for a specific shade, this is just a great way to grab the paper and kind of compare it to what we're coloring. So for today's video, we will be using the shades P3, Y11, BG68, and Y3, and we will be coloring the Mermaid stamp set today. I will also have the Ohuhu markers linked down in the description box below. The first thing that we will be coloring today are the bubbles, and we will be using the shade BG68, and it does come with a brush tip and a fine tip. I just like to use a brush tip because it colors a lot easier. Like that. And since we might be making 2 cards, let's just go ahead and color the bubbles on here as well. For the fish, we will be going in with the shade Y3, and of course we will be using the brush tip. Okay, so I stopped and I picked out 2 additional colors, which is R6 and G3. And I'm going to be coloring the mermaids different colors, that way that the cards are just a little bit different. So for the hair, we will be going in with R6. Okay, and then for her top, we are going to go in with the shade P3. And then for the tail, we are going to go in with the shade G3. Okay, and then these are another brand of markers, and it's by the brand SFAIH, and we are going to go in with the shade YR212, and this is going to be a great shade for the skin. Okay, so we are done coloring this one, and what I also like to do is test out the markers just by putting a little line on the page. Just to test out, make sure that it's the right color that I am looking for. But let's go ahead and set this to the side and finish coloring the other one. Since we already have this marker out, we can go ahead and color her skin as well. And then with the hair, we are going to again go back to the Ohuhu markers and use the shade Y11. And then for the tail, we will be going in with the shade P3. Using that brush tip again. For her top, we are going to go in with the shade BG68. Alright, and here is this one. So we have 2 completely different mermaids, and these are going to make such a cute card. So let's go ahead and start die cutting. Okay, so we have our die cuts here, and at Lawn Fawn they actually call them lawn cuts, and I thought that that is just so precious. So let's go ahead and open these up to separate these dies, and I will be right back. Okay, so I separated the dies. We are going to be using the Sizzix Big Shot. It will be linked down in the description box below. The Sizzix does come with plates that shows all of the instructions on how to use it. That way that you don't have to take out a little booklet every single time that you use it. So I'm going to put down my cutting plates, put down our piece of cardstock, and then I'm going to put down the little die cuts. I will also be taking a small piece of washi tape just to secure these dies down, and just a little tip, go ahead and just kind of move that washi tape around on your fingers, because sometimes washi tape will tear your paper, and we do not want that to happen. So go ahead and get that just a little less sticky. It just needs to be able to barely hold it in place. Okay, let's go ahead and add on the other two pieces. Okay, so now we are ready to roll it through our Sizzix Big Shot. Let's go ahead and put on the top cutting plate, and we will roll it through. All right, let's take off that top cutting plate and let's see how good that we actually did. Oh, yep, these are so pretty. Oh my goodness. Let's take a closer look. So here they are up close. We have the mermaid, Bubbles, and the fish. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other piece of cardstock, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. I have organized everything by card, and we are going to be making 2 cards today, so I'm actually very excited for that. But we have our mermaid with our sentiment and all of the other little pieces here. We have 2 card bases as well. We are going to do a dimension card for this one, so it's going to have that little top panel. For this card, we are going to be using the shaker dome, so we will need that top piece for it. And then a piece of scrap cardstock to go on the back, that way that it holds in all of that filler. We are going to start off with the shaker card first. So I want to do some ink blending, but let's go ahead and cut this down a little bit more. And I'm just going to trim around the edge. We want to make sure that the circle is big enough, that way that that double-sided tape can attach to its background that we will be blending on. I do have my bag of ink blending brushes. Let's go ahead and just pick one out. These are clean. They are just very stained because me and the boys, we do a lot of arts and crafts, and so they are just very stained. I picked out 3 shades from the Simon Says Ink Cube collection, and we have the shade Spring, Lilac, and Melon. I think for this background, we want to go in with maybe Spring, but let's just take a look. Let me get out another brush. I like to kind of swatch these out as well, just to see maybe how dark or how light that the background is. So this green and then the green on her tail, they kind of match, and I think that we probably should not go in with that color. Let's take a look at the melon and see how this one looks. I'm just going to dab on there and kind of do a little bit of a circle. All right, let's see what the lilac, this one might be a little bit too dark. Oh yeah, that's way too dark. Okay, so let's just go in with the shade Melon. We will just go in very lightly. So I'm going to dab on my glass mat and then bring the shade down. That way it just gives it a little extra color. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's definitely just a little color on there, just to add a little bit of background to kind of remove that white space from there. We definitely need to go ahead and fill up the background first. So we need to make sure that she fits in here and everything else does as well. So we can kind of put it like that. Put our sentiment right there. Something kind of like that. And of course we'll have the filler in there. We'll put it like that and then have some gems maybe around it. I think that that is what is going to work best. Maybe we should even move the bubbles kind of up there. Okay, so I'm going to take my precision glue bottle. Let's make sure everything kind of looks good. We can go ahead and put her down. About right there. And then we need to go ahead and put down the fish as well. Kind of behind her like that. And then we need to put on our sentiment. Just like that. And then we need to add in the little bubbles. And I'm thinking that maybe we should actually just put them right here by the fish. That way it kind of ties everything together. And let's just double check to make sure that everything is going to fit. And it is. So that is perfect. I'm going to put something kind of weighted on top of this just to make sure that everything dries down perfectly. So I will be right back. Okay, this part is done drying, so now I do want to add in some filler, and I only want to add in a little bit just because the shaker dome is pretty small. So I'm thinking that we should add in just a little bit right there. And then I want to pour it on top of here. We need to take off that double-sided tape on the back, and you just peel it up like this. And then we could put our shaker dome down. So this we need to be very precise because once it's on here, we cannot move it. All right, press it down gently and let's see. Oh, that is so cute. I think I may have added a little bit too much filler in here, but it is definitely cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now let's take off the double-sided tape on the front, and it comes off just like that. And then we could put the top cover on, and again I cut this with my Cricut. All right, and then we will add some gems to the card, but let's go ahead and put on some double-sided foam tape to attach it to our card. I got this from Hobby Lobby, but usually I get it from Amazon. And this comes in a pretty big roll. So I'm just going to cut off a few strips. And now I'm going to take off the backing, and then let's go ahead and center it on our card. Just like that. Look how cute this is. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's add on some gems. Okay, so I picked up some from Hobby Lobby, and I think that these are going to be so pretty. Actually, these came from Joann's. These are the Park Lane brand. Let's take a look and see how these would look on here. I definitely want to go in with the purple. So I'm thinking maybe one right there. And these are just called enamel dots. So if you ever want to pick some up, that is what you would, search for online. Maybe find like a local store. All right, and here is how our first card turned out. Of course, we'll definitely have to move around that shaker filler to kind of see the whole picture, but I'm definitely loving this. So let's go ahead and move on to our other card. All right, so we have all of our pieces here. We are going to be doing some more ink blending, so let me go get some more washi tape. I have a whole bucket of washi tape, and this is also like a gemstone kind of pin thing. That way you could pick up the gemstones a lot easier. But I get all of my washi tape from Amazon, of course. I feel like there's always like a Amazon package coming. All right, let's go ahead and just kind of let our fingers go over it, get it a little less sticky. And then we are going to put it along the edge of the bottom. Another tip, if you are crafting in like a comfy t-shirt or sweatpants, you can just put it on your t-shirt and it kind of picks up that extra lint from your shirt. It makes it a lot less sticky. So that's also just a little tip if you don't want to run your fingers over it, because sometimes it can feel like a bit icky. So now we are going to go in with the shade Spring. I think that we need to bring some green to this card. So I'm going to dab on here, dab on the glass mat, and then we are just going to bring it in. Okay, so now that we are done ink blending, let's go ahead and peel up the washi tape. Hopefully it does not rip our card. Okay, now I want to start attaching all of our pieces, and for this we are going to be using some double-sided foam dots, and we have those here. These are from Hobby Lobby, and we can also go ahead and mock it up. So I want the mermaid to be like up here maybe. I kind of want it a little bit different from how we made our other card. So here's the other one. And we can add those bubbles somewhere up there. These are reverse tweezers, and it makes everything a lot easier to kind of hold and move around. All right, I think that looks great. So let's go ahead and add on the foam dots. And then we can go ahead and take off the backing. Usually I'll use like my pokey tool for this, but since these are so tiny, I'm just going to use my finger. And then these are, again, great for placement. We want her about right there. And then we can go ahead and do this one as well. And peel off those backings. All right, I think we want it about right there as well. And then for the fish, probably just add on about 2 of these. Peel off those backings, and we'll put those right there. And then for this, I think that we should just glue this down since it's so tiny. And I'm using my precision tip glue bottle. Let's see, I think we should place it, and we'll place them about right there. All right, so now I do want to add some gems to it. And I think we should go in with these pretty pearls. I got these from Hobby Lobby. All right, let's see. We should take probably the biggest one. I'm definitely going to have to add on some sticky sort of adhesive, maybe even some glue, because the adhesive stuck to the paper. So let's use our wax tip, and we are able to pick up the gem a lot easier, and we can just place one right there. And then we will get, I guess, a medium-sized one, which is super tiny. We will put a small tiny little bit of glue here, add that one on, and then I think we should take just another smaller one. I don't want to go with a teeny tiny one. And we'll put it right there. All right, I think that that is all that we are going to add for the gems. Now we could put on some double-sided foam tape to the back, and we will just cut a few strips. And then we could take off those backings. And then we could place it on our card base. Just like that. Alright, and here are the cards that we made today. I had so much fun using the Lawn Fawn stamp and die sets. Again, this is going to be a card making series that we are bringing to our channel using all of those. So thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did, and I hope that I've inspired you to create something with the Lawn Fawn stamp and die set. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!